The rise of mercenary wars, the chaos before the bloodshed. Imagine waking up in medieval Italy. You hear horses outside your village. Steel clashes. Screams echo in the distance. You fear invasion. But the strangest part? These soldiers are fighting for no king, no country, no religión. They fight for one thing only: money. In the 1300s, Italy became one of the richest places in Europe. But wealth created enemies. Power created fear. And city after city began hiring professional killers. Mercenary armies. Men who sold violence to the highest bidder. Today they fight for your city. Tomorrow, they might destroy it. This is the story of how war became a business, how greed turned Italy into chaos, and how the rise of mercenaries prepared the country for generations of bloodshed. To understand why mercenary wars exploded in Italy, you first have to understand one important thing. Italy was not united, not even close. In the 1300s, Italy was a fractured land, a dangerous patchwork of rival city-states. Powerful cities fought constantly for wealth and influence. Florence grew rich through banking. Venice dominated trade across the seas. Milan built military strength. Genoa fought for control of Mediterranean trade. And in central Italy, the Pope ruled lands of his own. Each city wanted more territory, more influence, more money. But there was a problem. War was expensive. And ordinary citizens? They were tired of fighting. For centuries, cities relied on citizen armies. Farmers, tradesmen, blacksmiths, men forced to fight when war arrived. But by the 1300s, that system was collapsing. Why? Because medieval war had changed. Battles became more complex. Weapons improved. Armor became stronger. Military tactics evolved. You could no longer simply hand a farmer a spear and expect victory. Cities needed professionals, experienced fighters, men trained for violence. And so, Italy turned to outsiders, mercenaries, professional soldiers for hire, known in Italy as Condottieri. The word came from condotta, a military contract. These men signed agreements promising to fight for whoever paid them.
No loyalty. No patriotism. No permanent alliance.
Only profit. 1 year, a mercenary captain might fight for Florence. The next, for Milan. Sometimes even against the same people who hired him before. War had become business. And business was booming. Mercenary companies were everywhere. Some were small. Others looked like private armies. Thousands of trained soldiers, cavalry, archers, swordsmen, engineers, entire military machines for hire. Many came from Germany,
France,
England. Even survivors of the 100 Years' War wandered into Italy looking for work. War veterans needed money. Italy had plenty of it. One feared group became infamous, the White Company, led by the legendary English mercenary captain, John Hawkwood. Visual, Hawkwood on horseback. Cold, strategic, feared. Hawkwood became one of the most powerful soldiers in Italy. Cities competed to hire him, because if you didn't, your enemy would. But there was a terrifying problem with mercenaries. What happened when nobody hired them? Simple. They robbed villages, burned farms, kidnapped nobles, extorted towns. If cities refused to pay, mercenaries sometimes turned against everyone. Suddenly, Italy wasn't just threatened by war. It was threatened by the men hired to prevent it. Fear spread across Italy. The city-states were becoming richer, but also more paranoid. Nobody trusted anyone.
Florence feared de Milan.
Venice feared Genoa. The Pope feared rebellion. Every ruler knew one truth. The next war was always coming. And when it came, you needed mercenaries first. Cities began spending enormous fortunes building hired armies. Politics changed. Power changed. Even warfare changed. Battles became less about honor and more about contracts, deals, money, and survival. A city could lose everything overnight if it hired the wrong commander. Or worse, if its mercenaries switched sides. Italy was becoming trapped in a dangerous cycle. The more mercenaries cities hired, the more dependent they became, and the more dangerous war grew. Visual. Storm clouds over Italian cities. But this was only the beginning.